I'm Daniel, the past life regressionist, and it's time to begin.
Lift off and the clock has started.
This is Timeless Spirituality. Enjoy Eternity Time. Hey everyone, welcome back to Timeless Spirituality. It is time for a brand new episode, and just go ahead and remember to like and subscribe to the show if you like it. And most importantly, if you would like to book a regression with me to discover who, when, and where you have been throughout time, you can reach me on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist, or you can go ahead and book through my website, thepastliferegressionist.com. And now, it's time to begin. Whitney, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing well. It's good to be here again.
Happy to have you. And I'm also very proud of myself because you and I just spent almost an hour talking about food. However, this is a huge moment of growth for me because in past times, I probably would have put that on the podcast. Granted, I wasn't recording yet.
And I asked.
You did. And it's just like, oh, let's keep talking about food. But nonetheless, there have been times. There was one episode I went on a 25-minute rant. Well, I mean, there was a back and forth. We talked about food and then got to the bulk of the episode. It ended up being a two-parter because for some reason I felt the need to include that in the episode. Nonetheless, I'm growing. It's the little things, everyone. Take the wins where you can get them. I left the food discussion out of the episode.
Y'all missed out, though. On some good laughs, some good ideas. Hatchet Parmiente. Look it up.
Chateaubriand.
Chateaubriand.
Chateaubriand, the goldfish crackers.
A good mash. Mash and potatoes.
Okay, we better stop or else we're going to
I know.
I'll be like, I was just
right
getting
back.
started.
We're just bringing you guys into the vibe. We want your energy right there with us.
Mm-hmm. Chateaubriand, that's a petit filet. Okay. As we put the regalness aside of this opulent life that we both dream of. So we can talk like that. And mean it. Jumbo shrimp. Okay. Anyway. See, I set this up. Anyways. Whitney, it's been a couple of years since you've been on the show. You were one of the first guests on Time with Spirituality. And then I had you back again a couple of years later. And now you're back again. I think it's third time, right?
I believe so.
Third's the charm. What do you believe in?
Ooh, that's a good question. You're going to guide me on anything in particular?
No.
No. Okay. What do I believe in? That's such a good question because honestly, that's been the journey for the last decade of figuring out what I believe in. For those who don't know me, I grew up a pastor's kid and I have great parents, amazing parents. I wasn't like a rebellious pastor's kid. That's usually the stigma. I didn't need to be rebellious because I had freedom to express and also explore and, different thoughts. But it was always kind of within that box of God. And it wasn't until I went into ministry as a pastor that I started to see kind of outcomes of beliefs within Christianity. And I didn't like the outcome that I saw repeated, in different certain scenarios. And that was more of like the belief in sin and the separation of God. And that just something about that. I'm like, but yet we say that, even David said, where can I go where I am not with your presence? Even if I make my bed in hell, you are there. So that was kind of something that was always told to me, that you can never be separated from God, that you are spirit, God's essence lives inside of you. And so you can't be separate, but yet there's this concept and belief of sin, and sin literally separating you and creating distance, even not complete separation from God. And so I could never really reconcile that with everything else that we were taught. And so that was actually the main move away from Christianity. And I didn't really know that I was moving away from Christianity. It was just more away from that belief that I could be separate, because that just didn't resonate And then it was kind of unboxing God, like what are other versions of God? What are other expressions of God? Exploring that. And that has led me to where I am today, where I honestly believe that we are all divine and sovereign, and our journeys are sacred. And what we experience is meant to be experienced. And that could be the challenges, that could be, the things that don't go to plan or don't go right. It could also be the success or, the joy, the love, the peace that we experience in our life. But I think for sure, I believe we came here for a reason. We have a purpose. We have basically kind of not a story, but we came here to experience life. I won't say something. I'll just say life. We came here to exist. And I did a little mushroom ceremony December of 2023. That was my last little ceremony that I did with shrooms. And one of the things that they said, it wasn't a big dose. It was actually kind of a low dose. But one of the things they said to me, because I was really struggling with depression. This was prior to me going through cancer. And it was instrumental in me going through my cancer journey and everything since. And they said, Whit, you focus too much on poop shoot thoughts. I was like, poop shoot? They're like, yeah, you think about where yesterday's shit went, who's it mixed with, who smelt it, who saw it, where it is, like in the tubes. And you think about that and you waste your time on poop shoot thoughts when you could be enjoying your life and enjoying existence. And they were like, your soul came here. It's like a soulgasm being incarnated. And I think in just, living life in the last couple of years, COVID, all of that, there's just been such a rise in like escape the matrix. And maybe that's just my awareness on it, or it's coming to me for whatever reason. But even in Christianity, it was the rapture, escape life, right? Leave, let God like take you up before it gets really bad, right? Satan comes back to earth and 666 and the beast and the mark of the beast and Antichrist and all of that. And really escaping the matrix is, I see it as like the same thing in a different costume. I'm just constantly trying to escape this reality, but I came here to experience this reality. So they were just like, anything that takes you outside of the bliss of existence is not worth it. It's literally not worth your thought, your energy, your emotions, your time, your attention, your awareness. Move on, go frolic in a field of flowers, like enjoy your life, And that was something that through all the ups and downs in the last couple of years since I was on the podcast, it's been a little bit of a journey through all the challenges, all the doors slammed in my face, and then all the open doors and all the times where things were made, available to me, or I was able to find that therapy or treatment or whatever, right? I was able to afford surgery. And then even changing jobs in the midst of that and all of the things, and changing even like what I do, being of service to people and the podcast, my podcast, the Soulish podcast, all of the things is understanding that I need to stay in that place of enjoying my life no matter what. And this is the sole goal and purpose that I came here, bottom line. So anything I believe, all of it, I think summates into that. We came here to experience, I came here to experience what I'm experiencing. I believe I am divine. We are divine, sovereign, and everyone's journey. I say this on my podcast all the time is your journey is sacred. There is no right way, wrong way. It's whatever way that you experience it. And even if you're not getting it right, I'm doing air quotes, or you're getting it, you're getting it right. Doesn't matter what you're experiencing. You're meant to experience. Trust that you're being guided, that you're loved, you're surrounded, that you're divine, sovereign, and you're enjoying the journey, hopefully. And I think you were meant to, and we were meant to, and I was meant to. So to summate that, that's what I believe.
That was a full circle moment right there.
You were wondering.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, when she can answer the question. But it ended up working out. Yeah. I was like, okay, I can see the link here. Yeah,
I'm never short-winded. You should know that. Never short-winded.
You have one-word responses like next to never. Sometimes.
Never said next to never.
Having you in my life, I mean, you're a godsend for many reasons. But I'm always observing when you're communicating because I could use some of that Whitney
Expounding.
Yeah. I mean, I can be long-winded sometimes, but I don't really go anywhere a lot of time when I get long-winded. But you know how to get right in there. Yeah, I got to bring it back. And then, because if I'm long-winded, wait, what were we talking about? How did I get from this to this? So, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So today we're here to talk about the Expanse method, but you have also done the other methods with me.
Mm-hmm.
So you are in a unique position to compare and contrast. I mean, I'll be the first to say I'm a little biased to Expanse. I mean, obviously, but I still think that QHHT and BQH, the other methods that I am a practitioner of, I still think that they are useful and they still have value. I still think you can gain amazing things from them because I think you need to be in the right place for Expanse. I mean, I still think you will get whatever it is you're meant to get. But to me, Expanse is taking the gloves off and be like, let's do this. Let's tango.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other ones are kind of, let's go on a cloud. Let's go on a journey. Oh, yeah. What Expanse is like, all right, put it up. Like, put it up. Let's get ready. Like, let's go 12 rounds. Let's go 15 rounds. Let's do this. So, Whitney, I'm just going to hand the floor over to you for this one. What do you feel the difference is between the experience of Expanse and the other methods?
Yeah, I noticed a difference almost immediately. The key difference for me is I am very visual by nature. Like when I get an intuitive hit or like I always have dreams, I see it so clearly and usually in color and all of that. And even like faces. And so when we were doing the other methods, I remember sometimes it being really hard. It was almost like there was a fog and I was trying to like clear the fog to get to see what the scene was or what was happening. Or sometimes it would take a while for that like smoke screen literally to kind of dissolve and for things to start to form in what I'm seeing. And almost immediately in the Expanse method, it was like, boom, this is where you are. And it's so clear. And every detail was so clear. And, each kind of section or series of that we went through was also super clear. Like it really didn't take a ton of time, at least from what I felt. I didn't feel that there was a struggle or I was waiting for the vision or scene to come to me. It was very clear. Sometimes it was hard to figure out like intention of what's happening, and we can get into that. But I feel like sometimes that was kind of always unclear in any of the methods because you're seeing something unfold and you're trying to understand why or who are you? What are you to me? How are we related? Are we related? Are you me? Am I you? That kind of thing.
I think what you were also referring to is the point of it all, like, and what's the correlation, right,
Yeah.
to what I'm experiencing
Yes.
right now. Like,
Yeah.
how does this make sense? Why am I seeing this right now? So yeah,
Yes.
that's usually not clear at the
Yeah.
beginning. That clarity
Yeah.
usually comes in later. So I
Yeah.
think, that's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah. And just visuals, like being able to be in it. Sometimes it took me longer to get into it, but hypnosis was also so new to me. You're my first hypnosis session ever. I had never done anything like it before. So I had done my own like personal meditation time. And if something came up, then fine. But I had never gone in like that before. It's very specific. So that process was really amazing. And so even with the Expanse, there's a difference there too in how you go in. And I think that's really cool. I definitely felt the difference. And safety. I liked the safety factor. I've always felt safe in our sessions, but the container felt really good in this too.
Thank you. So I think what Whitney's referring to right now, sorry about talking about you in a third person, because of how deep we go with the Expanse method, I am constantly checking in. Because you are my eyes and ears in there, and also you are in control. I have no control over the session. I'm just the guy who asks the questions and opens up that space and holds that space for you. But nonetheless, you are in control. So with Expanse also, I'm always encouraging whoever it is I'm doing it with, to face the discomfort and to embrace the discomfort. However, the check-in is also me saying, do you feel ready for that? If you don't, that's okay. There are other options. There are other roads that we can go down. Do you feel ready for it? So I think that's a huge difference between the way that I facilitate this one and the others, is I'm not checking in as much because this is, again, it's that gloves off. It's almost me saying to you, are you ready to go another round? Are you ready to, are you ready to keep up in the fight?
It was so good. Can I talk about some of the scenes and things, those details?
Yeah.
When we first came in to like the first scene, what I was seeing is a castle. And I don't think I've ever been in a castle in any of the other sessions that we've ever done. I've been in time periods where there were castles, but I was always like, definitely like peasant type style. Like I'm obviously one of the people, This felt like I was coming from like almost felt like royalty, but not quite. But I was in a castle and I was almost like walking down a hallway into like a foyer. And the first scene that we went into from that place, it was the forest, which I'm super familiar with. I've almost always had like a Native American, reincarnation type or past life type experience. So I kind of immediately knew like, yep, check my hands, yep, I'm a woman. Don't have my hands, kind of what I'm dressed in. It's kind of, skin, right? Like the leathers and a skirt and, tan skin. And so I just kind of immediately knew, okay, Native American, here we go. Here's another one. But the scene that unfolded was really chaotic.
Also, if you know Whitney now, you see she's very, very, very European.
I've got like some tan off white, but yeah, I'm very German.
Well, if you're tan, it's from the sun, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, just want to give everyone the visual, how far you are from Native American. Yeah.
Although I'm 1/8, you wouldn't know it. But yeah, so it was a chaotic scene. So I don't know what it was like for you, but I do remember you asking me like what's going on. And I was just trying to like figure it out because like people are running, it seemed like we were under attack or something. And then I finally saw the other tribe coming in. And so I just ran. Like I took some stuff that I had with me and I just ran for the river. And I heard this guy behind me and looked quickly back and saw that he was pursuing me. And so I ran, but he was yelling at me. And it wasn't like it could be interpreted as yelling at me out of anger. But what I realized in the end, not to ruin it, but he wasn't necessarily yelling in anger. It was to get my attention. But I don't know if it was a different dialect from what I spoke. That I don't know because I couldn't understand it. But I just knew I'm being pursued by this guy running for my life, So he threw an axe, like a small hatchet, and that hit my boat. And it was right when I was getting into the boat and it hit my boat. It was close to me, but far enough away that you're kind of like, I don't know if he was aiming directly for me or if that was to deter me or if that was like a warning. Don't get in the boat. Who knows, right? Hard. These are the types of things that are hard to interpret during a session, right? You just say it like, this is what's happening because I'm your eyes and ears. So I'm like, this is what's happening. He just threw an axe, or whatever. And I'm in the boat and I'm off, and I paddled down the river for a while. I think there was a split juncture at one point, and I think I went left from memory and I saw another tribe and I felt a type of way about that. Or before the tribe, didn't I get off into the riverbank? Yes. And that's where I saw the white stag. Yeah. So
that's when you tried to plug the boat, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I think so, because the hatchet was like midway. So it was enough to get water. And it wasn't like bottom, but it was definitely like water was coming in. So yes, boat repair. And then the white stag came. And that was the opportunity for me to sit with discomfort. I think that there was something that stag, if I remember correctly, was kind of presenting an opportunity to go with it or to not. But there was I felt a type of way with that stag. And I don't know if I can remember exactly all that it was bringing up, but there was things, and I think it's really interesting. I've never had like a white stag present itself or anything like that. But there was a sense of unease with it. Like, what does this mean? That kind of thing. But all in all, like when I went through that full journey, met the next tribe, and saw that outcome, can I talk about the end? Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's like the big surprise at the end.
Yeah,
See, I mean, not the process.
right. Yeah, like talking with the guy
Yeah.
after. Okay. So towards the end of the session and the visualization, part of it was pick somebody to talk to or converse with or who whatever is brought up and see the message that's coming through, right? And I really felt led to pick that guy that threw the hatchet. And I wasn't sure why, but it just felt like there was something there for me. And it actually was super deep. And it's a pattern that I've done in this life as well, several times. I can quickly exit or cut ties. And you've just on a personal level, you and I have chatted a lot about this in the last couple years. But his basic message was, I actually wasn't going to hurt you. Like I had no malice. We were not taking over the tribe in a hostile way, but that's how it was perceived. And so the second that people start screaming and running, and especially with like a language barrier or anything like that, it's even if not, it's so hard to communicate. We're not here to be hostile. We're not trying to kill anybody or anything. And his motivation was to try to stop me so that I didn't flee, so that I wasn't on my own. Like there was so much, like he actually wanted to be together. He was looking for a partner, and I was somebody that he definitely was interested in. So it was like, you could have just stopped and we could have had a conversation, but you just assumed the worst and ran. And in that vision, in that session part or that visualization, because there was like several, I ended up meeting another tribe or connecting with another tribe and got integrated in the tribe. And I think even like had a partner and all of that. Like it was totally, it worked out. But there would have been an opportunity for me to be with that guy. And whether we can say, is it better or worse, staying with my home tribe or being with a new tribe and all of that, like I said in the beginning of what I believe, like it is what you experience. There's no necessarily right or wrong, but the deeper lesson that I think he was bringing through was, don't assume the worst. Like, observe a little bit longer. Like, you don't have to assume the best, but don't always assume the worst. Let the worst be proven to you first,
Mhm.
before you make a decision to run, move on, cut ties, burn bridges, that kind of thing, because you're losing an opportunity for healing and growth in that specific, that everything, if it sniffs, smells, there's a whiff, I think is what I mean. There's a whiff of something. It doesn't always mean it's bad, or gonna hurt you or harm you. And it's interesting because my dog, who you can see half of his body here, he struggles with this hardcore. So it's such a demonstration. I have to constantly convince him that even if it's a loud noise or a weird thing, like, you're fine. Like, let's just pause. Let's stay right here. Just watch it. Look, it's not going to hurt you. And I'm constantly doing that with him. So that was my like after session reflection. I'm like, I have an embodiment of the exact fear that, like, an exact experience in dog form right here as like a constant reminder to not see everything as, a possible death, or it's going to hurt you, or, do something or destroy you or something, destroy your life. So that was such a great lesson and great reminder. And it goes really deep because in these experiences, even with, even my family, like, I think back in November, December, I mean, I was just kind of like, I'm, I'm done. And I'm going to consider my family not my family, like maybe your family that you're born in is not your real family. It doesn't always have to be. Maybe the family that I'll have one day is a chosen family, friends that I consider as close as family. And I was ready to cut ties and I didn't. And I'm glad that I didn't, because in the coming months, things got cooled down, right? I started realizing, like I'm able to understand and have a different perspective and release stuff and realize you don't have to burn the bridge when you're releasing something, within yourself. And so it's such a good lesson. It's really a life lesson, probably a soul lesson that I needed to be reminded of. So it was really good.
Well, thank you for sharing all that. You had said towards the beginning, you don't know what it's like for me. I think you're referring to me, right? When you said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So your session was, I learned from every session. Your session in particular, though, when you had that first interaction, because I think, the way you described it, if I remember correctly, was that basically it was like this invading tribe that came in, and you bolted, which, of course, in that moment, that made total sense to me. You got these people coming in
pretty quickly,
and it seems like a threat, so you bolt.
Yeah.
Maybe you went a little far down the river, further than you needed to, but nonetheless, I couldn't blame you for that. But there's also these little tells, because I also remember you saying at the time, they're coming in, I don't know if you said hurting people, but they're like on people, or they're like suppressing people, but they're not killing anyone. I remember you saying that specific. They're not killing anyone.
They were holding people down, like stopping people from running, but they weren't killing people. It's really interesting.
What's interesting for me in those moments, because it's kind of like, think of any good movie you've watched or any good TV show, any good book you've read. The writer has done their job when you are asking yourself, what would I do if I was in that position of that character? Sorry for the writing correlation right now, but that's a lot of what goes through it in the moment for me also is, what would I do? Would I stay? Would I run? I don't know, to be honest with you. It almost seemed like
I'd run.
Right. Yeah. In that situation, like, I don't know if you necessarily made the wrong decision. And going down the river and not stopping, that may have been, bridge too far. But nonetheless, I get it. And I have compassion for what you did, by running. But what's also interesting for me as a practitioner is there are things that I'm going to play close to the chest right now, just with regards to the method and the twists and turns. But there is a point in the method where everyone is presented with a choice. And as the outside observer, I never vocalize what that choice should be. There's always a choice that I think someone should make, but I never, ever say, this is what you should do. I think maybe there's been one time where someone has even said to me, what do you think? And it's like, well, here's what I would do. But what do you want to do? But nonetheless, I remember in your session, there was someone in my mind that I thought would have been the better candidate or the better choice. And you didn't go for it. But I'm glad you trusted yourself. Now, who's to say what would have come up with that one? But nonetheless, to me, it wasn't even the obvious choice. Like, the choice you made to me was not the obvious one. Because that's the other thing. Sometimes in these sessions, I am pleasantly surprised by the choice someone makes, because I'm like, I think that they're going to make this choice, which is, to me, the easier one. It's okay, though. Look, everyone is where they're at, and I'm not the arbiter. So, I trust whoever's having that or having the session, and that they know what's best for them. But your choice was one of those that showed me, okay, all right, maybe I don't have it right all the time. So, it's a very humbling moment for me when I can see it playing out in a very positive way, and not the way that I would have done it. But what the hell do I know? I think that's what it comes down to ultimately, is everyone is their own authority. Everyone knows what's best for them. I may be on the other side of this and doing it a lot, but I don't know you and your experience. Only you know that for yourself. So if there's anything I would just convey to anyone listening right now, It's that is you are your own authority. Even if a, you know, I'll put it in quotes, an expert has a certain opinion. Okay, if they're a heart surgeon, maybe you should listen to them. But when it comes to this realm, you know you better than anyone.
Yeah.
So that's my feeling with it is this is your journey. You know, your entire life is your journey.
Yeah.
So
I liked it too. I felt very much like not separating my higher self from myself. I am in a place where I can tap into that, you know, intelligence or that perspective when I'm looking at things or how I'm making choices. Like I am divinely guided and I can make choices that are good for me, are in my best interest, are most supportive instead of outsourcing. And I think that's one thing in spirituality and I think religion as well is a lot of disempowering yourself to an outside authority, right? Or sovereign or divine. And it's like that's still you're separating yourself from the divine instead of understanding that that is you, that you're actually just as connected and just as empowered to explore, to make decisions, to get the intuitive download. Like we don't need practitioners, we don't need anybody outside of ourselves, but working with somebody who is truly in it for service to others reminds you and teaches you maybe how to connect in with that, right? Like that's the value of working with somebody, of going to tarot or intuitive or past life regression, is it reminds you of your divinity. It reminds you of your ability to tap into the divine source, you know, God, whatever you believe. And I think that's such an important piece to this is you don't get a past life regression or do something like with yourself because you don't have the ability to do it, or you don't have the ability to get the info and get the insight. This helps you reconnect with your ability. And because it's a trust muscle, and intuition is a trust muscle, same as if you go to the gym. And if you don't lose it or use it, you lose it. Crap, I messed that one up. But, you know, so it's like this helps you tune in a way that maybe you haven't tuned in before. And it's a safe container to do it in. And you can then follow that pathway on your own as well as you learn how to and how to tune in to your intuition and have visions. Or maybe you're not a visual person. Maybe it's more of a feeling, right? Or a knowing. Like there's all the different clairs, right, that we can tap into and use. And some people lean a certain way or, you know, another. But I think that's the important note is there is no outsourcing power. And I really felt empowered with this expanse method in a way that, not that I felt disempowered in the others, but this one really put me in that seat of like, you got this, you know, you're here, you're doing this thing. I really liked that and I appreciated that. And that's very
Thank
much
you.
in line with your energy and with your intention when you work with people. So I really felt that.
Thank you. I mean, that means a lot to me because that, I mean, admittedly, is something that I struggled with when it comes to putting the expanse method out because I don't incorporate the higher self part of the session. Now, because in QHHT and BQH, there is a part where we connect you directly to your higher self. And in most cases, bring that in so it's speaking through you. And I struggled with that, leaving that out. But in my decade of doing this as a practitioner, as we're recording this in May of 2026, it's become more disheartening to me over the years to see how many people have come for sessions for that part of the experience of I need to do this because I need to ask my higher self this question. I'll go through the past life regression to get to the point where we call in the SC, the superconscious, the higher self, the subconscious, because I need to ask it questions.
Yeah.
And I think that, yes, that can be beneficial. But the problem I saw was an over-reliance on it.
Yeah.
It was like
it's a outsourcing.
Right. It was an inability to make any decisions without consulting that part first. Or like, I have to go run and get a QHHT session or Beyond Quantum Healing, past life regression.
And that's the same thing in a different costume. I had a chick once ask me out to lunch when I was in a Christian and in Christian church and all of that. She's from my church. Asked me out to lunch. I sat there for 45 minutes. I finally got a hold of her. I'd been trying to get a hold of her. Finally got a hold of her. And she said, I'm still waiting on God to tell me whether or not I can go to lunch with you. And I'm like, but you asked me to lunch. Like, you asked me to lunch. Like, why? Like, I don't get it. And it's just because it's this fear of like, oh, but if I move outside of what God wants me to do, then, right, I'm no longer blessed or things will go well for me. That is basically, Daniel, like religion in a different costume. You know, it's that restriction, that limitation that you aren't able to make decisions for yourself or get the download yourself. You are your higher self. You are it.
So, I mean, just to kind of expand upon that, I do think that there can be something massively beneficial of having that experience, though, and feeling that connection.
Yes.
But I think it's just the over-reliance on it. Because I don't know if I said this before, but if I didn't, just to reiterate, it was seeing an inability for people to make decisions without having that answered by the, like, I can't make this, I can't break up with this person unless I ask my higher self. I can't, you know, I can't accept this job if I don't get a QHHT session.
Yes.
So that's what Expanse is meant to do, is empower you to trust yourself. And whether you call that getting in touch with your higher self in the moment, or just leave the higher self out of the equation and just trusting you, because
your gut, your intuition, your instinct.
And even as a practitioner, Expanse is much more difficult for me because I don't get to rely on someone's higher self or subconscious, because I can't ask you questions. And so what I've seen as a result of that, I was not a lazy practitioner before, but not to toot my horn too much. If I was showing up at 100% before, now I have to show up at 110%, because there was always that thing in the back of my mind that's saying, even if I miss this right now, the higher self will tell me. If I ask it the question, you know, for the clarification on something in the session, it will tell me. And then when I say the higher, I mean someone else's. When we would bring it in and I'd be asking their questions, I could ask, well, why was Whitney shown this life? Why, you know, why? And it's those types of things. So this makes me set my game up that much more, because it's like, oh God, I can't rely on that. I can't miss anything, because if I do, then then it's gone. So, I mean, I think that that's beneficial for me as a practitioner too, because it makes me tune in even more.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really good. I think if you're new to past life regressions, or maybe you're someone who's seasoned in getting regular past life regression sessions, maybe you've never seen Daniel or gotten in touch with him, or maybe you have, this Expanse Method is amazing. And I would definitely book a session with Daniel.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Whitney. You're a good friend.
I'm an honest friend too.
Yeah, you are an honest friend too. You would tell me. And yeah.
That was shit.
You would tell me.
Shit.
I think you're making a bad choice right now. I think you should abandon this Expanse thing. I think you should keep your day job. You know? You would tell me.
No, this is your thing.
I'm not.
It's really, it's your gift though. Like, not everybody can hold space the way that you do. And you also have such a lightness at the same time that, you know, you understand the gravity of certain things that are happening. I always feel like you're in the feels with me at the same time that there's a lightness around it, more like everything's going to be okay in a sense, you know, like that kind of lightness of like, you're safe, all is well. So yeah, again, if you're new to this, or you've never had a past life regression session or hypnosis or anything like that, Daniel's definitely the person to work with.
Thank you, Whitney. That means a lot to me. Can you say more good things about me?
Yes.
It's okay. Yeah. You don't have to. I was just testing.
I was taking a breath. A big breath in. Here's all the things about Daniel.
So how can everyone work with you?
So you can find me at Intuitively Wit on Instagram. You can find me.
Can you spell that? Because Daniel the moron didn't know how to spell it when he was looking. So
Yeah, I'm not going to spell it, but you can look it up. Intuitively wit.
But what if you lose someone because they're like me and they
Google.
replaced a E with an I
Google
or an I with an E?
intuitively.
Well, but they're not spelling it. Okay, never mind. It was a mistake I made, and I was like, "Oh shit." Okay.
Intuitively wit, and it's a new. I'm kind of redoing my Instagram, and so this is a new place for you to go, and really, it's kind of a new work that I've been getting into as far as like really leaning into my intuition and that gift and ability, and really helping women specifically step into fulfillment and dreams coming true and living an abundant, not just monetarily, but an abundant life, experiencing prosperity in a way that you haven't before, and really bringing that in and that awareness and releasing limitations in that, because everywhere in my journey in the last couple of years, and I think really honestly my whole life, there's just been that limitation, that cap, that ceiling. And so I've just felt called in this last season, after having many caps and experiencing many challenges and doors closed and things like that, realizing that is just a redirection, into something that is more supportive, or maybe what I need right now versus what I think I need. And so those are the types of things that I really want to get into and really encourage women with. And so you can find me at Intuitively Wit, also whitneyabke.com, and the Soulish podcast is where you can find me. And yeah, I'd love to connect with any one of you that resonate with anything I've shared.
Was it episode 33 or 35 or 36?
Oh man. you're in there at like all
in
the
a 30 somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think you're even earlier. I think you're even earlier as a guest, like in the teens or the 20s. And then you're in the 30s. I think you're in the 80s and 100s, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find Daniel, the past life regressionist, on the Soulish podcast.
So I just had to.
It's shameless plug.
It's absolutely shameless. I mean, you got some other good episodes too. But
yeah,
those are.
But yours are the best.
I didn't say it. So, I mean, just to give Whitney the tongue bath right now, because you said all those nice things about me. I know I'm under no obligation. But what I can say about Whitney is I've sussed her out for the last 5+ years. She is what she seems. That's one of the. I mean, I can give you a lot of other compliments too.
No, but that's like the best. But that's that she's real.
She is. What you see is what you get with Whitney. This is who she is. I mean, even for me, I think I'm a little more restrained on the podcast than I am. Sometimes, maybe not as well spoken in other aspects when the recording button goes off. But this is Whitney, just through and through. It's very seamless. I mean, like I'm the same too, but guys, what I. Somebody's like, oh, because then there's session, Daniel, where I don't crack any jokes. I'm just so gentle. Like, even if there's something I disagree with, okay, let's talk about it. That's totally okay. Yeah, because I don't know. But nonetheless, I mean, there are things that you hear me rally against on the podcast, but when you come in for a session, okay, sure, that's okay. Where I mean, okay, and that's my long-winded way of saying it's very seamless with Whitney.
I am who I am.
She is who she is. This is it. Although, I mean, last thing I'll just say, like, for the differentiation, because we'd been talking about food and Chateaubriand and goldfish crackers for an hour before, and then once I hit record, it's Whitney, welcome to the podcast. How you doing? Like, my voice perked up a little bit. Whitney's tone stays the same. She's not monotone, but it stays the same.
I have a definite vibe.
She does. It's the wit vibe, and it's intuitively Whitney. It's intuitively wit, and that's intuitively with an I, not an E. Intuitively. No, intuitively. I before E, except after C, right? Why didn't I take that into consideration? Anyways, thank you for coming on, Whitney. And
thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Fellow time travelers, your journey through time awaits you. Just want to thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. And if you're interested in discovering who, when, and where you have been throughout time, and you'd like to book a sesh with me, just go ahead and send me a message on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist, or you can reach me through my website, yourpastliferegressionist.com.